question I get from all of you is, can you help me? And the answer is absolutely yes. But there's actually a more important question that I want to talk about in this video, and that is more, what are you willing to do, and or what are you willing to admit to? So these are kind of delicate, tricky questions. And let's take a look at this from outside a body. So let's say you have two people, two neighbors, and they have similar cars. And the one person drives this car very conservatively, doesn't ride the brakes, doesn't take it out and open it up on the highways going 110 miles an hour, doesn't leave it out in the rain, takes good care of it, just the usual car maintenance. So how well would you expect that car to run, and how long would you expect that person to have that car? Well, probably a very long time. Let's say now you have neighbor number two. So neighbor number two rides the brakes, just always the brake lights are coming on. And they go out and they do crazy wild stuff with it on the interstate. And they leave it out in the rain, and they're not very good to it. They don't change the oil on time, etc., etc. So question then is, how well is that machine or is that car going to work, and how long will it last? Well, most likely a lot worse case scenario, and probably not going to last as well as scenario number one. Well, the same is true for you and your body. So the question doesn't matter, you take either of those cars to the mechanic, can the mechanic, improve upon it, fix it, clean it up, work his magic? Of course, he can do that with either car. He's got a lot less work to do with car number one. He has a lot more work with car number two, and the expense to the owner is going to be a lot more with car number two, but you can handle them both equally and get them back to peak performance, back on the road. Well, the same is true for you and your health. So kind of the heart-to-heart you have to have with yourself, are you owner number one with your body, and or are you owner number two with your body? Because everyone then, once I tell them I can help them, they always ask the two key questions. How long is it going to take, and how much is it going to cost? And basically, the reason you do the initial consultation with me is I need to, just like the mechanic, find out if you're car number one, or if you're car number two, or somewhere in the middle. Because you can see a patient who's car number one is going to take a lot less time, money, and effort. And car number two is going to take a lot of time, money, and effort based on the amount of damage that is done to your machine. So going back to question number one, can I help you? I'm absolutely 100% certain I can help you. To the magnitude that I can help you, that kind of goes back, the ball in your court is number one, what are you willing to do about it? Two, can you take any responsibility in what occurred to this body now and in the past? And then three, if you're willing to take that responsibility and still want to do something about it, then you have to ask yourself honestly, is how much time, money, and effort are you prepared to hear it might be? So let's not be silly about it. Let's not pretend you are car owner number two and you expect me to promise you what we could do with car number one. And then the reverse is car number one, don't worry and expect worst case scenarios and these, upsetting and monstrous figures. You've done pretty well with your body. You're probably looking at, less time, money, and effort. The question becomes is, I don't know and you don't know. We can't get the answers to that unless you and I talk.